All right, welcome back, class. Today is going to be a little bit different. Not a lot of number crunching. It's basically just word and vocabulary stuff. I almost linked you guys a different video from someone else, but I sucked it up and made it, so hopefully this goes well. All right, so you see here, it says the group that you want information about is called a population. If I want to know about NASCAR fans, our population is NASCAR fans. If you want to know about middle schoolers, population of middle schoolers. Pretty easy. The sample is who you can survey, okay? So these basically, and moving forward, you're gonna have to say what type of sample are you choosing? One of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then if it's biased or unbiased, and how can we reword these these questions to be unbiased. So, a random sample. Every member of the population has an equal chance of being selected if I want to know people's favorite color, right? And I just walk around the street and go up to any random person I see. Random sample. Systematic sample. A rule is used to select members of the population. If I walk around and I'm going to be like, every third person I see, I'm going to ask you a question. I'm using a certain rule. Every third is my rule in that case. There could be other rules, but that's an example of one rule. Stratified sample. The population is divided into distinct groups. Members are then selected from each group. So, for example, middle school. I divide them into 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. So I've divided, okay? Members are then selected. You don't necessarily have to ask everyone in those groups. So I divide into 6th, 7th, and 8th grade groups, and then I ask certain people in the group. So doesn't mean you ask everyone, but you divide, then ask people. Or it could be, if you can ask dogs, I guess. Animals, whatever, but you get the idea. Convenient sample. Only members of the population who are easily accessible are selected. This one's a difficult one. Who are easily accessible. So let's say you want to ask administrators. Take a poll of school administrators, right? Let's say you're at a big school. This is not the biggest school, but you're at a big school. Lots of administrator people on staff. And you go around. However, some of them have their door closed. So you only ask the people who don't have their door closed. That was convenient. You didn't really try very hard to go outside of your comfort zone or try to get more data collected. Convenience. They were easily accessible. And self-selected, members of the population can select themselves. So let's say here at school, we have a question, what is your favorite type of dog, right? And you just have papers posted around. You're not making sure everyone goes there, right? So only those self-selected ones, only the ones who actually want to respond will respond. Or, let's say, do you prefer cats or dogs, right? Only the people who really want to respond will respond. So they kind of select themselves. If they want to, they will, which can lead to sometimes good results, sometimes not the best results, right? So, moving on. Ooh, let's actually go here. You can't see it, but you can if you have your book. A school newspaper reporter asks every 5th student entering a school building whether a new gymnasium should be built. What type of population? Every 5th. That is a systematic. We used a rule. Every 5th person we are asking. So that's what that one was. A manager at a television station randomly telephones 75 residents under 30 years old and 75 residents 30 years old and over to determine the station's most watched programs. Which one is that? Well, let's see. We divided into under 30 and over 30. So first we divided under 30, over 30. We then asked some of them, right? So we divided into grouping, and then we picked certain ones from that group. So that is a stratified sample. You kind of see how this section is working. Flipping the page. All right. This is probably my favorite part. And this is where I have a beef with some people. When people make surveys or something, I'm like, that's a very biased question. When conducting a survey, you want a sample that is representative of the population. A sample that is not representative is a biased sample. You want unbiased. However, most things are biased. So be careful of who they ask. So, let's move this up. It says, a city council wants residents to help choose a new building project. Residents can choose one of the 3 ideas listed at the right. You could either build a new library, build a new city hall, or build a new park. Because the council cannot survey every resident, it decides to survey a sample, a portion of their population. Tell whether the survey method could result in a biased sample. Explain. City council members and their families. So if they're trying to decide which project should we make, and they only ask city council members and their families, there's a large likelihood, right, that they want to build a new city hall because that's where they work. You want to work in a nice spot. It's nice to work in a nice spot, isn't it? So, might be biased. They might say other things, right? Maybe they have kids and they're like, I really want a new park. But most directly related to them would be building a new city hall. So, a little bit biased there. What if, instead of asking city council members, you asked parents at the city's recreation center? Well, these are people who have kids. Recreation, they like to go outside or have fun with their kids. Likelihood of them wanting to build a new park, pretty high. Them wanting a new city hall, where unless they go to city hall town meetings, which I hear are very low turnouts, they probably don't care. Library, but not everyone's definition of fun and recreational. So they'd probably say build a new park. So if you ask them, you probably get more results than that. A little bit biased towards the park answer. And survey shoppers at the local mall. At the mall. At the mall they sell books, clothing, you could buy toys. So, could it be biased? Maybe, but you're less likely to find a biased responses from that one because you kind of got a mix of everyone that go to the mall. People who work at City Hall, they probably still go to the mall. You probably have families who go to the mall. People who read, there's bookstores in the mall. So, C is the least likely for you to find a biased sampling. Now this is my favorite part. Biased questions. Questions that encourage particular responses are biased. So, is the question biased? You didn't see the answers. Don't you agree that planting more shade trees will make our beautiful downtown area even better? Don't you agree? It's implying that you already agree or you support the idea that planting more trees will make the downtown more beautiful, okay, and better. So, when someone already feels what you kind of are feeling and they sense on your question, it's common for them to just respond like, oh, yeah, I agree with that. So, a little bit biased. So, question, to properly say it, do you agree, not do you agree, do you think that planting more shade trees will make downtown even better? Or even more beautiful? Do you think that? The book says, are you in favor of the plan to plant new shade trees in the downtown area? B, are you willing to pay higher taxes so that the city can build a new stadium, even though we already have a stadium? So it sounds like San Diego Chargers kind of. San Diego Chargers Stadium's not so good, but they wanted to build a new one. Be like, well, we already have this one, but we have no fans because we're the Chargers. So even though we already have a stadium, it's implying that you're like, I don't think I really support this because we already have one, dude. And so if you're asking me that question, I kind of like, oh yeah, you know, Rhett, you're right. I'm not necessarily thinking for myself. I'm thinking based on what you're thinking. I'm like, you got a point there. Yeah, no, I don't think I support that. It's a biased question. You want them to agree with you. So, unbiased way, do you support the plan to build a new stadium? You've not said that you already have one. You're not implying your beliefs. Just, do you support the plan to build a new stadium? Very open-ended. You've not given them any clues as to what your particular stance is on this question. Let me see. Is there any other good one I want on here? For example, me. Don't you agree that NASCAR is the best sport and the most caring of their fans? Because they do iRacing on the weekends when there's no real sports, but they get together and do it live. You know what I feel about that. It's the best. And now you feel that way, because I asked it in a biased way. Just what sport do you think is the best and relates best to their fans? Leave it open-ended. Alright, I'll see you on the next one. Hopefully that made a little bit of sense. There's not a whole lot to it.